Inspired by the life of the savvy and ambitious Colombian businesswoman Griselda Blanco comes a new Netflix original limited series. Griselda tells the story of a devoted mother who, with her lethal blend of charm and relentless savagery, creates one of the most powerful cartels in history. Witness Sofia Vergara's captivating transformation into the godmother of the underworld. Griselda, now streaming only on Netflix.
And welcome to another episode of Before My Time. I am your host, Gelsey Laurie, and we are joined, as always, with our co-host, producer, and friend, Matt Kelly. And I'm going to educate you all on some top secret, classified CIA information from 1944. Stick around and see what it is.
We're here to entertain you, we'll sing your songs. For good times, the best times, you can't go wrong. We'll two-step, a new step, it won't be long. When the Dixielands are playing, soon you'll be swaying, so come on, sing along.
All right, Matt, we're going to change it up a little bit. We've never talked about something like this, but we're going to talk about the kind of like the CIA is what we're talking about.
Yeah. You're going to get us killed.
I am. I know. I hope we're not being bugged right now and listened to by the government. But no, this used to be classified information and it was declassified in 2008. And that is the CIA's Guide to Being Annoying.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, but it's called the Simple Sabotage Field Manual is the official title. And it's by the CIA's precursors, the OSS, which is the Office of Strategic Services. They're the intelligence agency from the U.S. during World War II. They were started by Roosevelt, who I feel like was like in on all of it. So basically the U.S. OSS created this Simple Sabotage Field Manual for not the U.S., but to distribute into Nazi-occupied Europe, mainly France, Norway, and Belgium. Okay. And this manual teaches these countries how to make their societies worse and less productive is the basis of what they're doing. And the intro states in this manual, it is based on universal opportunities to make faulty decisions, to adopt a non-cooperative attitude, and to induce others to follow suit. So the idea was, these countries are being invaded by Nazis, and obviously the Nazis they overrun the whole thing, but they can't go in and work all the factories, this, that. So the natives are still working these jobs, managing, operating, whatever it be, living there. And so they were like, well, you can do your part and just annoy the fuck out of the Nazis.
So wait, oh my God, I'm about to say the most Gen Z shit in a second. But is this basically like 1941's version of silently quitting a job? Where it's like, like that new thing where it's like, you don't necessarily quit the job, but you just do the absolute bare minimum to get fired. And then just like fuck around all day. Like, this is the amount of work I have to do for you to not legally fire me. And if that only takes me 5 hours of my 40-hour week, I'm just going to fuck around and find shit to keep me occupied.
Kind of. I mean, it's kind of like that, but it's more on the because there's a section, and I'll get into like kind of exactly, I'm not going to read the whole guide. There's quite a lot of information in it. It even gives citizens how to just be an annoying citizen, an annoying person. And it gives different workplaces. So there's general working, but then it's broken down into 11 sections, and that's different professions and different things to disrupt. So
all right, let's dive in. I'm excited.
Go through. I know, it's great. It was written in 1944, by the way. It was distributed in 1944. So section 1 is about buildings. So pretty much it states, warehouses, barracks, offices, hotels, and factory buildings are outstanding targets for simple sabotage. They are extremely susceptible to damage, especially by fire. They offer opportunities to such untrained people as janitors, chairwomen, and casual visitors, and when damaged, they present a relatively large handicap to the enemy. So that's the intro to buildings. And it's basically like not restocking toilet paper is one of the things. They're like, just don't put toilet paper in the buildings. It's going to make people annoyed. And there's 7 different ways on how to start a fire in a building. Tells you like if you're in a warehouse, there's this. If you're a janitor, there's probably these cleaning supplies. Leave this out, and kind of how to do it so it doesn't look like you did it. It's like
you just accidentally left the wrong chemical near the wrong
there's
heated
lots.
source. Yeah.
This manual, let me tell you, has lots of ways to start fires. Like that was their go-to. And they're like, and if all else fails, light it on fire.
Burn it all down is their tip.
Yeah, there's lots of that. So then number 2, sections 2 to 4 is basically how to be bad at your job if you're in a factory. And then it gets broken down into sections like section 2 is industrial production, manufacturing. Section A of that, tools. So it's like let cutting tools grow dull. They will be inefficient, will slow down production, and may damage the materials and parts you use them on. So as little as things like that, and like using the wrong size wrench. Like use a smaller wrench when a large one is needed, so it takes longer. Or don't sharpen your tools, or store saws in a way that they'll either bend or it's going to screw up the material where it's going to take longer. So it's all about slowing down production and just making things. So basically this is all about like getting your tools wrong, the lubrication on all of the machinery, how to fuck that over, how to get it to freeze. So one of my favorites is it says you can pee into an engine to break it, be it a car engine. Ooh. So just go start peeing in stuff and it'll break it. And then in sections 2 to 4, there are 5 more ways how to start fires. So now we're up to.
So I love that every
ways.
one of these 11 things leads to fire as being.
It literally is like, and you can always start a fire. So section 5 is agriculture. So it's on farming. And basically in a nutshell, that section is just like be bad at farming. It's just like, tells you, like there's like really, it's the smallest section. And it literally is just like, it's the smallest section. Like let's read something from it. Crops and livestock probably will be destroyed only in areas where there are large food surpluses or where the enemy is known to be requisitioning food. Feed crops to livestock. Let crops harvest too early or too late. Spoil stores of grain, fruits, and vegetables by soaking them in water so they will rot. Spoil fruit and vegetables by leaving them in the sun. So it's basically just like be a bad farmer.
Yeah, I love that. That's great tips.
I know. So like any farmers out there that are like, fuck society, just be a bad farmer. I've got the guide for you. So section 6 to 8 is all about transportation. Specifically, it starts with railways. So this gives some ideas on how to be annoying to both passengers and people that are working the railways. So like one way if you're working them is to issue 2 tickets per 1 seat. So double booking a seat so that the people get there and they're like, this is my seat. And they'll start an argument and just make people like, Barr! Another is if you are handling luggage at night on a night train trip, be really loud, moving the luggage around so that you wake the passengers up who are trying to sleep.
I love that it is just like literally here's how to be the most like that's not even bothering Nazis, that's just bothering the people.
Everybody. One of them literally says, see, the food is especially bad, so serve really shitty food on this train. Switch address labels on enemy baggage, so fuck up their luggage address.
That's actually a great tip.
I know that is. Yeah.
Like
Engineers should see that the trains run slow or make unscheduled stop for plausible reasons. Switch, signals, and routing. It's like exchange wires and switchboard containing signals and switches so that they connect with the wrong terminals. Just, I mean, it goes on. Like, I'm just giving you like a couple here.
I love this tactic, right?
Isn't it like this is how we're going to beat the enemy, is just annoy them.
This is perfect for like people like you and I who I don't think are, I mean, you are a stunt woman, but I don't think that anyone would categorize either of us as violent people.
No, I'm
so
like
it's
the
like
least violent
if someone
person.
has wronged us, it's like we're not going to go and fist fight them, but we might switch the luggage label on their bag so that it gets sent to the wrong place or something. Like
I know.
It's so petty, but I feel like it would work.
This is literally, I mean, basically this is like what the CIA was doing, because the OSS then got absorbed by the CIA, so they eventually kind of become that. But so I'm like, literally the CIA was like, we need to have a meeting, this is top secret, classified, comes into the office, all right, let's think of ways to just be an asshole. This is our project. They're like, this is the assignment I'm on. I'm not on like the secret spy, sending spies out into Germany and figuring out the coding of, nope, how are you annoying? And let me tell you, Matt, section 7 is all about automotive. And one way that you can be annoying is when the enemy asks for directions, give him wrong information, especially when the enemy conveys that they are in the neighborhood. Truck drivers can spread rumors and give false information about bridges being out, ferries closed, and detours lying ahead. So just...
This is like a guide for like if you're writing a heist movie and you need your character to run interference by like distracting someone. It's like this type of shit.
The CIA
like you
wrote
give
it.
them the wrong directions or like whatever.
Lie about bridges being closed. I don't know why that one like tickles me so much.
So yeah, just lie as if they're not going to drive past it and be like, wait a second.
Yeah, it's great. And there's definitely another way. I can't find exactly what it says. There's another way to start a fire. Oh, because here's all about mechanics. You know, turn on lights.
We
and
Didn't
park
Start the
cars
Fire by Billy Joel is not about this particular document.
It is not fuel. Yeah, lots. There's more, you know, screwing up lubrication in the cars, again, peeing in them, and more fires. Then transportation section 8 is all about water. So then, you know, it's basically they kind of barge and riverboat personnel should spread false rumors about the navigability and conditions of the waterways they travel. So again, kind of lying about where they can go. Barge and river boat captains should navigate with exceeding caution near locks and bridges to waste the time and to waste the time of other crafts, which might have to wait on them. So again, we're trying to waste as much fucking time as we can just to piss people off. While loading or unloading cargo, handle cargo carelessly in order to cause damage. So let's just like throw bags.
Toss it out the side.
Yeah.
I love it. This
It's
is brilliant.
so great. Yeah. So then we get to section 9 is all about communications. So goes into the others. So one of my favorite is it says if you're ever on the phone, I forget who's talking to who, but it says replace the word on calls minimum to maximum in orders to confuse people of, wait, do you say minimum or maximum? Maximum. So people don't know if you mean more or less. That might be my favorite one. This one too. Call the Nazi headquarters, wait for them to pick up and say, sorry, wrong number, and do that every day. I guess until they leave your country, until you run the Nazis out with phone calls.
Is one of the tips to just ask them if their refrigerator is running and then tell them to go catch it?
Like, oh yeah, that's section 9A right here.
Yeah. What's the one prank where you just call the same house like 8 times and ask for somebody and then a different friend calls and is like, hey, this is somebody. Do you have any messages?
Yeah.
Like that's like their plan.
This is like the like original prank phone calling. It's like there's ones on telegraphs, basically the same thing. Mail, it's like just slow down mail, make sure that the mail gets put in wrong, you know, telegrams are served. Oh, this is where garble telegrams to enemy destinations so that other telegram will have to be sent or a long distance call will have to be made. Sometimes it will be possible to do this by changing a single letter in a word. For example, changing minimum to maximum so the person receiving the telegram will not know whether it was minimum or maximum is meant. So it's like they have to like follow up on it. Now they have to like spend money on a long distance phone call. That's what that one was. So then
I love
we go.
that this is basically that the CIA called up whatever the 1944 version of like the Impractical Jokesters, the Jerky Boys, and the cast of Jackass into a building. It was like,
what do you
go
got
wild,
for us,
boys.
fellas?
Yes, like,
This is classified.
Just like Groucho Marx and Harpo were just sitting in the CIA building.
That's what I saw.
Groucho's like, have you tried randomly throwing your leg into people's hands while they're talking to you?
Wait, this might be by far. I said the others were my favorite. I forgot. This one's by far my favorite. So section 9, section E talks about motion pictures. So as a moviegoer, they suggest, you know, clapping loud, talking and coughing during the movies so that, you know, obviously people are pissed and the projector operators slowing things down and fucking stuff up. But one of them says, anyone can break up a showing of an enemy propaganda film by putting 2 or 3 dozen large moths in a paper bag. Take the bag to the movies with you, put it on the floor in an empty section of the theater as you go, and leave it open. The moths will fly out and climb into the projector beam so the film will be obscured by fluttering shadows. Take moths to the movies so that they'll go to the projector.
Release them into the wild.
No,
I love
and then
that.
because they're gonna go to the light and they're gonna get in the way of the projector. I was like, that's a brilliant way to fuck up a movie.
It's
Take
so
moths.
fucking funny.
I know. And so then section 11 goes into, section 10 is electrical power. So then that goes into turbines, electric motors, transformers, kind of linesmen. That's actually a very short-lived one too, because something like section 10 electrical power, section 1 of 10 says C5B, 2, E, F, and G. So they're kind of like, we already told you what to do. P in it, you know, and then light it on fire. All else fails.
Have you tried burning it?
Urination and fire is like the. So then we close up with section 11. It's a general interference with organizations and production. And this is probably going to be the most commonly things that we hear today that we're like, wait, my office is literally ran like this. It talks about organizations and conferences, basically like insist on doing everything through channels, never permit shortcuts to be taken in order to expedite decisions. Make speeches, talk as frequently as possible and at great length. Illustrate your points by long anecdotes and accounts of personal experience. Never hesitate to make a few appropriate patriotic comments. And like, this is literally how the workplace is now. When possible, refer all matters to committees for further study and consideration. Attempt to make the committees as large as possible, never less than 5, because you want lots of opinions to slow it down.
And that is no joke. Like,
right? These are all I was like, this is what goes on now.
Yeah. When I worked in a corporate office, every single thing was like, well, we'll bring this to this committee who will make a smaller research group committee to decide if this is good enough to chase down. And then they'll pass that information to the original committee who will pass it down to and then it's like 3 years later, they're like, hey, great. That idea that you pitched in January of 2019, we like it. Like,
I have a feeling that like it was something where this was meant to cause sabotage and whatnot. And then companies ran this way and didn't realize that it was like to fuck over enemies, and now that's just how we run companies, and little did they know that
it's insane.
It's crazy how much of this really does go on now, because it's like misunderstand orders. This is for managers and supervisors. Do everything possible to delay the delivery of orders. Don't order new working materials until your current stocks have been virtually exhausted, so that the slightest delay in filing your order will mean a shutdown, which I feel like that happens all the time, even in entertainment. I'm like, I've needed new shoes for 2 months, and I'm like, now I have no shoes. They're like, well, okay, we'll put in the order. I'm like, I told you 2 months ago. It's crazy, and it's
that it was getting dangerously low, and I need it stuff.
Yeah, and this one I love. In making work assignments, always sign out the unimportant job first. See that the important jobs are assigned to the inefficient workers or poor machines. And I was like, yeah, that happens today.
Yeah, that's again that. It's a thing that me and my friends used to lovingly refer to as failing upwards. Where like somehow is just be like, oh no, this guy sucks at this job, but we don't want to fire him, so we're just going to move him into a different, better position and hope that he's good at that instead. It's like, cool, because I've been like killing myself working in this role to be the best at it.
Well, this is this is in the section under managers and supervisors, and this would go with that. It says, to lower morale and with it, production, be pleasant to inefficient workers, give them the undeserved promotions, discriminate against efficient workers, complain unjustly about their work.
Yeah, thanks a whole bunch, CIA. You really opened up a beautiful can of worms in 1944 that we are still suffering through almost 80 years later.
Right. And then, of course, it's like misfile paperwork, order wrong quantities. In making carbon copies, make one too few so that an extra copying job will have to be done. Which doesn't really apply to today, but like, I know that's good. Spread disturbing rumors that sound like inside dope. They're like, definitely gossip in the office.
Gossip like crazy.
I love this. Tell important callers the boss is busy or taking another telephone. So just never give important calls to go through.
Sorry, he's busy.
Work slowly. I love this. Employees, section 1. Work slowly. Think out ways to increase the number of movements necessary on your job. Use a light hammer instead of a heavy one. Try to make a small wrench do when a big one is needed. Use little force when considerable force is needed, and so on. 10. The instructions are hard and ask to have them repeated multiple times. So just as much time as you can eat up. Anyways, we understand all that. And then there's some just general things you can do, like maybe not necessarily in an office or a factory, but just kind of like, give lengthy and incomprehensible explanations when questioned. Report imaginary spies or danger to the Gestapo or police. And one was, in public, treat Axis nationals coldly. Cry and sob hysterically at every occasion, especially when confronted by government clerks. And I think my favorite thing in this whole book or pamphlet is of section 11. It's section 9C. It says, and I quote, act stupid, period.
Oh, Gelsey, you and I have followed through on that for 60 plus episodes.
So boom, doing some CIA work right here.
TIAA is on a mission. Why? Because 54% of Black Americans don't have enough savings to retire. So in collaboration with big-name artists like Wyclef Jean, TIAA released Paper Right, new music inspiring a new financial future. With 100% of streaming sales going to a nonprofit that teaches students how to invest. Stream Paper Right now and help close the gap.
It is mind-blowing
and heartbreaking
how many original scripts are written every year but are never made.
So we seek out these scripts and bring them to life with full audio production and professional actors.
Check us out at Undiscovered Scripts,
Movies made of paper.
wherever you get your podcasts.
Free!
All right, Gelsey, I have to ask a question for this outro. Where did you find this? Like, this is amazing. I know. This is, of all the things you've taught on this show, this is my favorite random thing that you stumbled on that I didn't even know you were working on until you just messaged me and said, I have a CIA thing that we're going to do.
I didn't know I was working on it either. I was listening to the radio, oldie timesy human, not Spotify or anything. And it's this rock station in Southern California I like, and I'll radio hop. Anyways, it was the mornings. They were kind of doing talk radio shit. And I was like, And immediately someone was like, so I just found the released CIA guide to being annoying. And I was like, stay on station, turn it up a little. And he's like, and I'm thinking, okay, this is going to, what is he joking? And he kind of goes in. Then he's like, in 1944. And I was like, oh, I'm definitely listening because welcome to my podcast. And then they went in and were laughing. All the DJs are talking about these things, just crying, laughing. And I was like, this is amazing. And so then I was like, we have to do an episode on this. So I went home, started researching it myself, found the actual guide, read it, and I was like, this is incredible. So that's kind of how I came about it as a good old, radio disc jockey.
I love it. I love that our show, well, it's your show. I love that your show can be literally whatever the hell we decide it is.
It really, and that's what I know. Like, I was just telling you, I was like, oh, are we doing too much music? We need to go somewhere else. But I'm like, A, fuck it. We can do whatever we want. And B, by having anything that goes before our time, that really encompasses a lot.
It captures, it's a big net that it captures for sure. Well, Gelsey, if people have ideas for things that we can talk about, maybe they want more CIA release document content, where can they go to let us know what they want to hear us talk about?
They can go to Instagram at _podcast or search on Facebook for Before My Time. We will pop up right on our wall. DM us, send us a comment. Let us know, how are you annoying? Or what did you like about that? Or what Matt asked you? All the things. Just tell us. Or just say like, hey, and be annoying yourself to us. And we'll be annoying back. Watch what you wish for. Also, if you wouldn't mind, I'm going to be annoying right now. Leave us a review. 5 stars is cool. Or just a comment being like, these two are crazy. They act stupid, but the CIA told them to. Haha. We would really appreciate it. We really appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in and listening to all the crazy random shit we talk about. Hope you enjoy it because we do so much. See you next time. Bye. Oh, can you give me a second? Hang on. Matt, hang on. Sorry.
Gelsey has left the building, ladies and gentlemen. This is now officially Of My Time with Matt Kelly. It's a lovely little podcast where I just talk about things I like from my time. So right now we'll talk about Bob's Burgers, the movie.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.